Hello, my name is DeJané Cade, and this is my North Carolina Teaching Fellowship video submission. So yes, behind me I do have yarn, but I'll get more into that when I talk about my biggest accomplishment further on into the video. 3 qualities that I would describe for myself is driven, empathetic, and adaptable. I say driven because whenever I have my mindset on something, there is no turning away from that. I am driven, hardworking, and dedicated towards that goal. I also say that I am empathetic because I always love to see life through other people's eyes and look through different lenses for how they see the world. I say that I am adaptable because whatever life throws at me, I am flexible and I will adapt to that situation. And this is also important into the classroom because you never know what could happen. You never know if a student might not understand the lesson and you have to find another method of teaching. And that's what makes teaching so beautiful, because seeing that students eyes light up or when they have that aha moment, I think that's just so important. What makes a good leader? A good leader means good communication. Good communication means active listening. Secondly, what makes a good leader is problem solving. Problem solving is beneficial in the classroom because, again, there are so many things that could happen in the classroom that need problem solving. Lastly, accountability. Accountability is saying, hey, that was my fault, or hey, maybe I shouldn't have tried that, or just purely recognizing that you have areas of improvement. I have yarn behind me because I am a crocheter. I had the opportunity of going onto Fox News, on Good Morning Texas, and so many other media source outlets to talk about what I do with crocheting. And I create modern interpretations of fashion with crocheting. I really love crocheting because it helps so much with anxiety, and it really gives me something to do when I'm not reading a book, when I'm not studying, or when I'm not at school. What can a teacher do to foster understandings for students that are from different cultural backgrounds? So right now I am in Charlotte Teacher Early College, and technically it is a high school, so I'm a senior and I am pursuing a senior project on multicultural learning. I am so passionate onto this topic because I am Liberian American. My mom was an immigrant and she traveled all the way from the smallest country on the coast of West Africa, Liberia, and came here when she was my age, 18 years old. Multicultural learning is when you are teaching the understanding of your own culture and understanding other cultures, if that makes sense. So it boosts empathy, it boosts student interaction, and it boosts student engagement. Multicultural learning is also beneficial in the US because by 2035, minorities will be the majority in America, which is kind of cool when you think about it. But also this calls for major representation in the classroom so that students can feel like they belong. What does professionalism mean as a teacher? So professionalism for me means that you are coming to the classroom prepared. You are also respecting your students. What does respect mean? Respect is having an open line of communication, not feeling like you are the authority and that you are better than your student, but actually building that relationship with your student. And it turns out when you build a relationship with your student, behavior is better, grades are better, and engagement is better. They have a better attitude coming into the classroom, and that's what really matters. One time that I've encountered conflict actually was in middle school, so ages ago. No, I'm just kidding. Just a few years ago. I would come to class late to my first class, my first block, because we were only down to one car in my family, and we were a big family, so everyone had to go to school in the morning, and I wasn't able to get a bus because I lived so far away from the school. And so long story short, the teacher actually had to pull me to the side because I was missing my warm-ups, and I was about to get several zeros for missing in-class warm-ups by the end of the quarter. Pull my pride aside and look through the lens of the teacher and say, hey, I have to respect them and actually let them know what's going on so that they can understand what's happening at home. It gave me the opportunity to say, hey, you have to share the teacher's perspective of respect. And that's how I handled that conflict, and I actually got all my warm-ups done, and I stayed after class every day to do my warm-ups. On to my favorite teacher, and that was my second grade teacher, Miss Burkett. Shout out to her. She was the definition of what it means to feel like someone is on your side, like someone is rooting for you in the classroom, out of the classroom, when you're doing your homework at home. Imagine her standing there looking over your shoulder and saying, hey, you can't answer this question. I know you know this math question. He was the ultimate root of support for why I had so much passion in learning. And I feel like I would strive to emulate exactly that in the classroom for my students. 20 years later, if I had left the classroom, what I would want my legacy to leave behind. I had a grandfather who passed last year, and he was a professor. And he migrated to America in 2010. He actually taught me how to read and write when I was about 4 years old. I hope that my legacy leaves behind what he left behind for me, which is love, caringness, respect, and empowerment. On to the last one. Talk about what makes me a perfect candidate. Okay, I don't need the paper to look at the question. I'm a perfect candidate for this because of how much passion I have. If I was a Black girl growing up, I would have loved to see more Black female teachers. I never had a Black female teacher. I never had the opportunity to. I never had anyone to relate to me in the classroom. I went to a predominantly white school, and no one could really relate to me. No one could relate to my culture and represent me to let me know that I could become a teacher. So that's what I want to do. And this will give me the opportunity to share my light to other students and to tell them, you can do it. You can do anything. And I will be there to support you 20 years from now, 30 years from now, even when I'm old and gray. I will be there rooting for you. So, yeah, please pick me. Again, my name is DeJané Cade, and thank you for listening.